hot in here, officer. Do you mind taking my jacket?
Do I get a cup of coffee, too?
Get him a cup of coffee, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Don't say my name, you piece of shit.
Detective. Mr. Krueger, my name is Lieutenant Thomas Russell of the Springwood Police Department. I'm going to be asking you a series of questions. I would appreciate your answering to the best of your ability. Just so you know, this conversation's being recorded.
Do please send me a copy, will you?
State your name.
Frederick Charles Krueger.
Spell Krueger.
K-R-U-E-G-E-R.
Place of residence.
Don't have one.
Age.
Don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I'm an orphan. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe 30 or so.
Didn't your parents ever have a birthday party for you?
Mr. Underwood was the only parent I ever had. If you could even call him that.
Does Underwood have a first name?
Possibly. Mr. was all I was ever allowed to call him.
Where can we find this Mr. Underwood?
Hell, I'd imagine.
Excuse me?
I wouldn't know, officer. The last time I saw him, he was asleep in his chair in his den.
So you ran away then?
No. I walked away. Right after I lit the place on fire.
You said you set the place on fire?
Yes. That is what I said.
You're telling me you murdered this Mr. Underwood?
I really couldn't confess to such a crime, officer. I'm simply stating I don't know if he survived or not. I just lit it up and walked away.
Where was this? How long ago?
Dayton. 14 years ago.
And you have no idea whether or not he got out?
I don't really care much which, no.
So, where do you work?
The power plant.
How long have you been employed there?
4 years ago, this past December. Thank you, Jim.
Jim, get on the phone with Dayton. See if they have any record of an arson about 14 years ago. Residence of a man named Underwood.
That's very good coffee.
Mr. Krueger, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to ask you a simple yes or no question. Are you the man the press has been calling the Springwood Slasher?
Sounds like a bad movie to me.
Are you him?
Do you have a cigarette, detective?
I'll make a deal. You play nice, answer my questions when I ask them, and I'll bring you a whole pack of cigarettes.
I just want one.
Fred.
Oh, pretty please, detective. Pretty please with a cherry on top. Matches?
restate the question?
No, I'm the man you're looking for.
So you're confessing that you murdered 20 kids in and around Springwood over the past 5 years?
Is that how many I'm up to? Funny, I never kept count.
Mr. Krueger!
Call me Freddy.
I'm not sure you understand how serious this is. I'm asking you if you are the Springwood Slasher.
Well, I prefer the term Springwood Butcher. But I guess that's the downfall of being a serial killer. You're left to the mercy of what journalists and news reporters call you in the media. But then again, it was starting to grow on me.
Why did you do it?
Do what?
Murder all those poor little boys and girls.
Children. Tell me, Detective, what was so poor about them? What do they know about being poor? Those poor little children were walking around without the first clue what poor is, what pain is. Brats. Piggies. They had every privilege the world had to offer handed to them. They had their whole lives ahead of them. They had a future.
Did that anger you?
You a head shrinker?
No, I'm just a detective. I'm just trying to help you.
I don't need your fucking help, asshole. I've never needed anyone's help in my entire life.
Watch your mouth.
I'm sorry, officer. I guess I have just a little bit of anger in me.
Why are you angry?
Do you have a mommy and daddy, Detective?
We're not talking about me here, Fred.
Yeah. I bet you had a mommy and daddy. And I bet you had a nice house with a white picket fence and a warm bed to sleep in. You had friends, but you had a little dog named Spot. Yeah, you were a happy child. Not a care in the world.
What was your childhood like, Fred?
I don't know. I never had one.
What's your earliest memory?
I remember being treated like I was a piece of shit. Like I didn't count. I was a loser. I was a waste of space. The orphanages they herded me in and out of were prisons. You think this place scares me, Detective? You think this place scares me? I've been a prisoner my whole life. Always passed up for the cute kid, the nice, smiling, happy children. I was the ugly, the unwanted.
Why aren't you smoking?
Huh?
You were so hard up for a smoke, and now there it sits right where I left it.
I'm saving it.
For what?
For the opportune time.
So when did this Underwood character come into the picture?
He worked as a janitor for one of those hellholes they had me locked up in. Said that he'd take me home if they paid him to. Didn't matter to them that he was a violent drunk or that he was actually a pimp. That asshole used to beat me every night. He had this old leather razor strap. I still got the scars on my back. Some nights, when he was especially worked up, he'd take his razor to me.
Did you ever tell anyone about the abuse?
To who? The cops? Don't be so dim. One of his best poker buddies was the chief of police, and that fat bastard was worse than he was. Yeah, he wasn't just selling his whores to Johns, you know.
Are you telling me that he offered you sexually to other men?
I learned pretty quick that the world was cruel and unfair, and that the only thing one had to look forward to was the pain. It's the only time I ever actually felt anything. Ever. You sort of learn to embrace it, make friends with it. Once you understand how to love it, then, and only then, can you begin to understand why someone would want to be the cause of it.
So you're a masochist as well as a sadist?
I don't have time for your big fancy words, detective, but if you're asking if I enjoyed the pain, then yes. It was around that time that I discovered the joy of inflicting it as well.
When did you first kill?
You mean humans?
You killed animals too?
Almost daily.
Why?
Because I wanted to see what their insides looked like.
Did that curiosity carry over to your human victims?
Oh no. I didn't start killing my children because of that.
Then why did you? Any word on Dayton?
Not yet.
The report said this was found in your workshop.
My friend.
Is this what you used to kill those kids?
Most of the time.
Where did the idea for this thing come from?
Well, that would answer your previous question, officer.
Which question was that?
You asked about the first time I killed a child. My friend, there's your answer.
I'm listening.
In the years between walking away from Mr. Underwood and going to work at the power plant 4 years ago, I spent several years living as a hobo on the streets of Springwood. I came to this town with no money, no friends, and no future.
You keep saying that word, future. What does that word mean to you?
Without a future, officer, life has no meaning. I was never given a chance at a future. From day one, I was destined to be no one.
We are what we make of ourselves.
And I made myself the Springwood Slasher.
So you're living on the streets?
One afternoon, I was sleeping in an alleyway around the corner from the elementary school on Chestnut and Elm.
Roosevelt Elementary.
The very one. I spent the day begging, and I scrounged up enough money to buy myself a bottle to keep me warm for the night. I passed out in the alleyway, and I awoke to 5 boys. I decided to steal that bottle from this pathetic excuse for a human being. They were laughing at me. They were spitting on me. I snatched one of them by the pant leg. The other 4 ran away in fear. I liked that. They were afraid of me.
So it was the fear.
It gave me power.
Tends to do that.
Without thinking, I smashed that bottle over the little brat's head. He stopped fighting and screaming, and he fell to the ground. I looked down at him, and I saw the white flesh of his exposed belly. The sounds of the other 4 boys running made me catch a glimpse of them running away in that beautiful, perfect fear. It inspired and compelled me. I hated them. I wanted to hurt them all. But I only had one. So I pulled out Underwood's straight razor. The razor that he used on me, the same razor that I took from his drawer the night I set his house aflame. And I cut 4 little cuts in the boy's exposed belly. 4 little cuts for the 4 little piggies that got away.
Bobby Lane.
It was then that I decided I had a future now. My future was robbing the perfect little children of Springwood of theirs.
4 cuts. 4 boys. No future.
Try it on, officer. You might like it.
Who are you?
I'm nobody. I'm a tramp, a bum, a hobo. I'm a boxcar and a jug of wine, and a straight razor if you get too close to me.
What compelled you?
I grew to love the fear. The second one, little Sandy.
Sandy Gray?
Oh, I took her to my boiler room.
At the power plant?
Yes. The noise, the heat, and the darkness. It heightened their fear. It became as important to my process as my friend there.
Do to her?
Wouldn't you like to know?
We were only able to identify her from her dental records.
You should have heard her screams, Detective, when I put her in the fire.
So you have a thing for fire, do you?
Nothing is cleaner or more beautiful. I love to watch things burn.
Oh, that's good to hear, Krueger. Because you were right about having no future. Because very soon, you're going to burn. You're going to burn for what you did to those little boys and girls. And I'm going to be there to watch. I promise you that.
Damn it, Jim, I told you not to let him in the building! You killed my angel! You killed her! You're fucking dead!
Daddy can't help her now.
You motherfucker! I'm gonna kill you! Donald! You killed my angel! You're fucking dead! You killed my girl! You're dead! You're fucking dead!
You see what pain you've caused?
Who is that?
That was Detective Thompson. His little girl Sarah was your 11th victim.
Sarah. She had curly brown hair and a little white dress with roses on it. I remember Sarah. She was one of my favorites.
Shut up, I've heard enough.
But I have so much more to tell you.
Tell it to the devil. We're done here. Jim, get in here and haul out this piece of shit. I want him gone now.
Do you know where your children are tonight, Detective?
What did you just say to me?
Little Andy and Blue-Eyed May. Do you know where your children are right now?
How do you know my kids' names?
Because they were supposed to be victims 21 and 22.
Son of a bitch! Stand down! You drive my kids! Stand down, goddammit! Stop!
Did you ever see a dream walking? Well, I did. Did you ever hear a dream talking? Well, I did. Did you ever see a dream thrill you? When will you be mine? Did you ever see a dream walking? Well, I did.